Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Today's video is XinFin XDC on the exchange. Guys, this is one of our favourite bags here at the Whales of Wall Street. As you know, we will leave some links at the end of this one for an intro to XinFin and a couple of other ones that are really sort of thought-provocative, if you like. Sorry, got my words mixed up there. In terms of what XDC is about and XinFin's application through things like Cord and network and nodes across a multitude of projects around the world. But first things first, before we go into the chart, guys, because we have seen some good moves in the last 48 hours, let's take a look at a few notes here. So we posted this yesterday on our community page. By the way, please do keep an eye on our community page. We do have the People's Crypto episode 4 requests right now. So some loads of comments flying in at the moment for crypto assets that we want or you guys want us to cover. We hope to do that video by the end of the week, so do get your requests in. But to this point here, XDC ISO20022 always get it wrong. So this is round XDC networks coding infrastructure, sort of proving first of all, and secondly sort of giving an example of its messaging service around the ISO integration of standardization. Now this is quite big, guys, because in a couple of weeks time we do have the POS upgrade on XDC for the Andromeda update, which we'll go on to in a second. But for those that don't know, so ISO, of course, universal financial industry message scheme. Now we're talking about message, we're not talking about emails and WhatsApp messages and things like this. We're talking about messaging within finance. Okay, so there's quite a number of projects out there right now that are very much with this standardization, and XinFin is one of those. Now ask yourselves, people are always asking for case studies of XDC. I don't know how many more I can give, to be honest. I give one every video pretty much. Check out our last one where we went into a couple of really cool things about the mail ledger and things like that. But ISO, of course, this particular ISO around the messaging aspect, this is to do with really top level kind of financial messaging. Okay, so when you talk about messaging like Swift back in the day, or still today, I guess, that whole aspect of the transactional information going back and forth between other banks, between people, and this, that, and the other. And we know for a fact, obviously, XinFin working very hard in the public, with a public chain as well as a private one as well. So very much what we call a hyper ledger. Okay, so it's going to be really interesting in that hybrid perspective. We've done a recent video, I think it was Obscuro, right, on Corda's recent updates in the CordaCon, of looking into a coin that they want to develop for Corda for the private network. But we know that XDC is using Corda nodes, and we believe that maybe on the public side of things XDC could be used. So there's still a few questions around that. But to have this standardization so early is extremely important, and it gives you essentially confidence and trustworthiness behind a project already, in the sense that these guys are already there in terms of what's required as an asset or as a solution or project to be utilizing itself within now and the future's development of the financial industry. So it's really interesting, guys. We did do a video actually on this a while back. I'll try and find it and see if I can put it in to this video right now. It might come up on the screen if I do find it, hopefully. But yeah, it is very interesting, guys, as I said, with development of finance moving forward. But it kind of ties in really with the aspect of this as well. So we have the Andromeda update on the XDC network 1st of December. Okay, so this is the block number that is going to be sort of integrated. It's amazing how they can really determine exact block, which one they were using. So the upgrade is currently live on the test net. So this is very much around the protocols team and development team are essentially working hard in the background to make sure that this is going ahead. So around the whole aspects of smart contracts, of course, and multiple other areas within this to be added to the mainnet eventually. Now, a couple of things to point out here, in particular of my interest, is this aspect. So military grade security supported by forensic monitoring to identify misbehaving nodes. So really emphasize this, guys, that XinFin's project, and particularly with integration around the world, we know like Andre Custerman and loads of many other really big figures in the financial institution, people who are working within Corda and working within XinFin as well. These guys are working heavily to ensure that they are a top solution for the world's financial problems and what they want to achieve moving forward. So having this kind of security mechanism in the background is just giving itself more ammunition to become the ultimate solution. Now, we talk about other ones, of course, like Ripple, of course, with XRP, or XLM Stellar. These are definitely going to have very big contributions to bridging networks, supporting and powering things like CBDCs and so on and so forth. But I've always felt that XinFin is this one that's very much under the radar with its capabilities. It's actually arguably faster, quicker, more efficient than things like Ripple and Stellar already. It's waiting in the background. It's got things going on that no one even knows about. And I think this is the crazy thing, because people always ask, like, why aren't they saying things on Twitter? Why aren't they promoting blah, blah, blah? This company, XinFin and Corda, are not for us. They're not for the retailers. They don't care whether we make money or lose money on the exchanges. It's the same as Amazon. These guys are going to do the business in the background. They are working with gigantic partners around the world. They have no interest in it. I'm sure they do care about us in some capacity, of course, because especially people like us, hopefully, that not necessarily shield this kind of stuff, but we believe in it. We massively believe in it. But I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but it's about the context of what I'm trying to say, is that this kind of company, you won't know, you won't know significant detail until it's kind of come out, because if you're thinking about military grade conversations and identity and privacy and things like this, why on earth would you then go and make things public before they've even happened? It kind of defeats the object. And these guys don't have a mission to appease us all the time. This is very much something that we're very grateful and given the opportunity to invest in and help towards, with the staking and aspect of building the chain and having some consensus model around it. But in reality, this is something that's, what they would say in the industry if you worked there, is beyond our pay grade, as it were. So I'm not fussed, guys. I know what it's about. I know what's coming for XinFin. I think it's incredible. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the future and very near future developments of this project, especially around the EVM as well. So the virtual machine element of Ethereum coming into play as well. So I think it's just going to take it to another level. And let's go into the chart actually in a second, but that's one of the key points. And there's also, I just wanted to throw this out. So here we've got a video with Quincy from XinFin, one of the key developers there, I believe. I did ask him to connect with me on LinkedIn, but he appears to have ignored me. So maybe he'll watch this and change his mind. But he had a nice interview with the professor. It's definitely worth a watch. I do recommend that massively. Just a bit more education really around the whole system and what's coming. And there's a few more other things to keep an eye out for with XinFin too. So I just thought I'd throw those bits and pieces out there in terms of information. Let's go into the chart, guys. Smash that like button if you like what you hear or see. And thank you for those listening in the car right now, and anywhere else listening, as well as watching. And please do subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. We are smashing through it, nearly on 4,000. Cannot believe it. So here we go, guys, into the chart. We've had some great moves. Now, obviously, it's not massive moves, but I'm really pleased because it's probably for the first time in a while, we've seen two very good green candles in a row. I would argue that the last time we saw this kind of thing was back here on the 21st, 22nd of September, albeit not as big at this stage. But here we are. So I'm just going to pull that up just so we could see. That's the wrong way around. That's not helpful. So right now, as of recording, okay, so it might change when you watch this or whatever, a good nearly 20% uptake over 2 days. So I think that's quite respectable considering XDC for so long has been, you know, wandering itself around this kind of mark. And it's not the first time. We've seen it previously as well. I've always thought like 8.7 cents is a really nice sort of touchy subject for XDC. So we've been around that sort of just under 9 cent mark for quite a bit of time for the last few weeks. Had the dip down because of a few Bitcoin failure leverages, but equally they did retrace back upwards quite nicely as well. So I think that's just showing some really good emphasis that we've found arguably some confident support lines for XDC in my opinion. I think, you know, like I said, around that sort of 8.7 to 9 cent mark has been a lot of testing around that area in the past. So we've gone past that. We've had the big take up here in August, if you remember. I think we got up to, was it 19 cents or something? If I remember correctly, 19.52. So I think that, you know, not immediately, but I certainly think that we could start triggering some movements like we saw here back in September. I think it's overdue. I think it's about time, but it's quite convenient now that we have this conversation around the DPoS upgrade on the 1st of December. And it's kind of tying in with the fact that, what is that, next week? I can't believe. How are we in the end of November already? That is crazy. This is like probably the fastest year of my life, I swear. So next week we're in December, guys. Literally next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the launch. So it's going to be really interesting to see the mechanism of this price movement as we go along the rest of this week and into next week. Could it be that the awareness builds up more and more, that we start pushing this up to that sort of 12 cent mark, maybe even back up to the 15? I think we're in that period of the year now, and perhaps into towards the bull run, where we might start seeing some really good traction on XDC. We've said it for a long time, it's massively undervalued, but I'm really pleased with its current price point because of where we come from earlier in the year, but also from the point of that, you know, we've had these big jump ons and back down. We're healthily now finding that we can kind of tick this sort of 8 cents mark off really and start edging ourselves more upwards to then determine the next support levels, and hopefully around, like I said, defining this 10 cent mark up to the sort of 12 cent mark eventually as well. And around this 10 cent mark, to be fair, there's some really interesting touch points as well. So we had the uptake here, couldn't quite figure out whether we were going to do it or not, and we did. We came back down, nice resistance here, back up. It was a bit of a false pretense, if you like, and we've come down underneath, and now we're finally pulling ourselves back up to around this area. So literally 10 cents. I know it sounds, you know, so cliche to pick a rounded number, but just over 10 cents is quite clearly a level of interest, and just under 9 cents as well. So if we can get a close over 10 cents over these next 2 days, in my opinion, I think we can really start pushing this up. Not massively and quickly, but certainly gradually, and start getting some good momentum. What other good positive things can we take from this? Well, let's have a look at the RSI and everything here. So clearly there's been a big jump up here from this 40 mark up to 57. So that's quite a good jump, and I do generally believe that's coming from, you know, the recent announcements, in my opinion. We've had some nice uptake in terms of buy-in as well on the histogram here. So we've gone from this like wave where I thought, oh god, we're not going to switch over again, are we? And we didn't. We pulled it back up, and there's good volume coming back into XDC finally. And more importantly as well, we rejected this crossover arguably on the 21st November, as you can see here, but I wasn't expecting it to do that, that's for sure. But here we are, the gap is widening, which is really exciting to see. But more importantly for me, this is showing a bullish momentum. I don't know how big the volumes will be over these next few days, but I'm really hoping that we do push up towards that 12 cent, 15 cent mark in a short space of time. And then if we start doing that, I think people are going to start really taking note and really understanding what XinFin's capable of, all the wallet and everything, the staking capabilities, the smart contract aspects. I truly think this is the time. It's coming so soon that this is the time where XDC finally puts its doubters down, and takes the initiative to bring itself up. Like I said in this video earlier and in other videos, there's a lot of things we just won't know until it's kind of done, or it's very much nearly done with XDC. It's not like a lot of other projects where you get informed on a daily basis through marketing and stuff like that. This is a full-on institutional project, in my opinion, and like I said, we're very fortunate to be able to hold it and invest in it. Okay, it's like when Ripple first started and they said that it wasn't actually originally for retailers, but hey ho, we're here now, let's deal with it. So I think in its current price point and where it should be in the future, especially if it goes on and does the things that it's supposed to be doing, I'm not necessarily saying in the next year, but maybe in a few years' time, this price point, I'm not even joking, is a joke, an absolute joke compared to where it will be in the future. There's no doubt about it. If you do your own research and you conclude things and watch some of our videos, watch loads of other XDC XinFin related videos, you will see exactly why. This is a phenomenal project, in my opinion, and it's got so much more to come, not just in the chart, but as a project in general. So guys, let us know what you think. What do you think the price point of XDC will be, not only in the end of this year, but also in the bull run as well? Let's be realistic. I did believe I put in something around the 30-40 cent mark as a price prediction for the bull run. But you know the way things are going in this space currently. There's projects out there that are all of a sudden from nothing to absolute giant numbers, and some of them you haven't even heard of. Some of them don't even launched yet or have any actual adoption to them, and they're flying. This is what XDC is in right now. It's in a position where it's being adopted in the background that we don't know about. The volumes are clear to me that something's clearly going on. But like I said, let us know what you think, the price point wise, and let us know what you think about XDC in general. Have you seen enough now to conclude in your minds that this is actually a real genuine project and it's going forwards? Or are you still believing it's a scam? We did a video on that as to why we believe 99% it's not a scam. But guys, I'm up for opinions. I'm up for discussions. I love it. No right or wrong answers. It's what you believe. But don't just sit there and say it's a scam coin with no interesting information behind it. I want to see defined answers like we've provided, like many of the other people in the comments have provided. That's what I'm more interested in. So let's see how this plays out in the next couple of days. Like I said, if we can get 10 cents as a support line, I think we can push this up quicker than anticipated. But we never know with this space. Thank you for watching, guys. We will see you in the next awesome XDC video. Bye bye.